everybody, it's Abby here, and today we're going to discuss the various aspects of the novel Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Before we begin, here's a short summary of the storyline. Also, beware, this podcast contains many spoilers. So if you plan on reading this book but haven't quite gotten around to it yet, turn off this podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is a world divided by blood, red or silver. The Reds are commoners, ruled by a silver elite in possession of godlike superpowers, and to Mare Barrow, a 17-year-old red girl from the poverty-stricken stilts, it seems like nothing will ever change. That is, until she finds herself working in the Silver Palace. Here, surrounded by the people she hates the most, Mare discovers that despite her red blood, she possesses a deadly power of her own, one that threatens to destroy the balance of power. Fearful of Mare's potential, the Silvers hide her in plain view, declaring her a long-lost Silver Princess now engaged to the younger Silver Prince Mabon. Despite knowing that one misstep would mean her death, Mare works silently to help the Red Guard, a militant resistance group, and bring down the Silver regime. However, is it possible Mare has feelings for Prince Cal, the Silver Prince next in line for the throne? Could he choose her over his own people? But this is a world of betrayal and lies, and Mare has entered a dangerous dance. Reds against Silvers, Prince against Prince, and Mare against her own heart. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So, to begin with, we're going to talk a little about the three main characters in the book. There's our protagonist, Mare, a Red, stubborn, conflicted, powerful Mare Barrow. She is thrown into a whole new world, discovers she has silver abilities, then is forced to live a lie. Then there's Prince Mabon, friend or foe. He's a Silver, but shows sympathy for Mare and her cause, helping her and the Scarlet Guard to end his own family's regime. Then there's Prince Cal. He's a warrior, a strategist, and next in line for the Silver Throne. He and Mare seem to be linked to one another, and he is sympathetic towards her, though his loyalty still lies with his family. Power plays a huge role in their interactions. Not only the theoretical dynamic of power, their social status, but also their literal power, their silver abilities. The Silvers and Reds' interactions are tense, harsh, and unstable. All Reds are different when interacting with the Silvers. Some of them are rude, making harsh comments. They resent the Silvers for the power they hold. Others simply cower in fear, refusing to make direct eye contact, simply terrified of their abilities. Silvers treat Reds like slaves, think of them to be weak and worthless. Mare has much experience in this, as she was a Red before she was forced to live her Silver life, despite her resistance to be brought into higher class society. Evelyn, Cal's fiancée, hates Mare because she is strong, possibly even stronger than she is. As Julian states, she is nor red nor silver, but stronger than both. Power also influences the way Silvers interact with one another. They fear each other's abilities, so they tend to proceed with caution. The royal family is, of course, feared by all, and even the Silver folk are careful to treat them with the utmost respect. Mare knows she is a Red, as do the royal family, but all the other characters see her as a Silver engaged to the prince. Cal sees himself as a strategist, a warrior. Everyone else sees him as the future king. Mabon sees himself as Cal's little brother, weaker, never to sit on the throne. Everyone else sees him as the well-mannered, respectable prince. The way people see themselves and the way others see them is very different. I see Mare as a strong, independent girl who can really make a difference in the world. Cal is a boy who has real talent and leadership potential that people would see if they got to know him and not just his social status. Mabon is strong and cunning, but he definitely has a darker side. That he does not allow many people to see. What do you think of the characters? How do you think power influences their relationships and interactions? Let me know in the comments below. Now, how about the storyline? None of the scenes in the book were really boring, and there were lots of twists and turns throughout the entire novel. In my opinion, the most pivotal scene in the book is when the Reds uprise at the palace. Mare tries to convince Cal to help her, but he refuses. She and Mabon get caught, and then Mabon betrays her and Cal. the Queen makes Cal kill his own father by using her crazy mind control ability, and Mare and Cal are portrayed as murderers. Mavin's betrayal is the biggest plot twist in the book. They are led to believe he is helping Mare and that he has a good heart, when in reality, he is his mother's son and only using her to get to the crown. Did you see that coming? However, an argument could also be made that the scene where Mare gets her powers is the most pivotal in the novel. Without that moment, the story would not take place. None of the other events would have even happened. But then again, had the betrayal scene not taken place, the story would be much less interesting. Mare and the rest of the Red Rebels would have been captured, tortured for information, and then killed. Things would have carried on the way they were. Cal would still be next in line for the throne. The king would still be alive, the Silvers strong and powerful, and the Reds their slaves. Though the idea of Mare becoming a martyr to the Red Rebellion could be entertained, it is unlikely, as most of the Red leaders would have been captured and killed. What do you think? What was the biggest event that occurred that completely changed the direction of the story? Was there a scene where you had a moment? Or was there a scene that really surprised you? Warning, there's a huge spoiler here. What surprised me the most about this book was not actually Mavin's betrayal. In fact, I almost expected him to be a traitor to Mare. What surprised me the most was that Cal did not choose Mare over the Silvers. I can understand the decision. He's choosing what he's familiar with, to stand with the people who raised him and to protect his future people. But I will say that I was disappointed in him. Mare explained to him the Red situation, how all they wanted was equality, and he seemed to consider the possibility. There was also some very obvious chemistry between the two that they entertained despite being engaged to other people. As a result, I was surprised that Cal chose not to stand with Mare, even if he was a little uncertain when she first asked him. You could tell he was very conflicted over the matter, and seemed reluctant to choose his people over Mare. It almost seemed like his heart was telling him to choose Mare, but his head was telling him to stick with what he knew. Did Cal's decision surprise you, or was Mavin's betrayal more of a shock? Both of their decisions impacted the story in a major manner. Now, the ending of the book was great. Enough of a cliffhanger that you're looking forwards to reading the next book, but it still gives you some answers to tie up a couple of loose ends. Mare and Cal are saved by the Scarlet Guard, and Mare wakes up in the arms of her older brother, whom she thought to be dead. They plan on regrouping and continuing in their efforts to gain equality and to find the rest of the people like Mare, the Reds with the Silver abilities. The only other thing I would have liked to see was Mare stick up for Cal a bit. Cal protected Mare in the arena, though it nearly cost him his life. Then, when they were saved by the Reds and they were treating him harshly, she said nothing to defend him. Other than that, I thought it was a very satisfying ending. The characters changed a lot throughout the novel. We learned their strengths and weaknesses and were shown some of their secrets. Throughout the novel, Mare developed from a poor, hopeless pickpocketer to a powerful young woman with a better understanding of the world she lives in. When she fell onto that lightning shield, she changed. She became the face of the Red Rebellion. By the end, she is more self-confident and feels like she has a true purpose in life. Cal has changed from a future king who had no real experience in the world to a more understanding and compassionate person. He has lost his whole family, but gained a new perspective in the world he lives in. Mavin has clearly gone from who we believed to be an innocent boy, polite and content to live in his brother's shadow, to a scheming, traitorous, newly self-proclaimed king who made his own brother kill their father so he could take the crown for himself. Now, here's a question that was sent in by Jenna Burge. What did you think about the book overall? Are there any books you would compare to Red Queen? Which ones and why? Have you read any other good books by Victoria Aveyard? Thanks! Well, overall, I thought this was a great novel, and I would definitely recommend it. I might compare it to The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I would compare it to The Hunger Games as it is clearly a story of survival and fighting for equality. Both protagonists have been yanked from the lives they knew and and forced to pretend to love a boy they do not in order to survive. They also each become the face of a rebellion. What did you think? Which books would you compare it to and why? Have you read the second book in the series, Glass Sword? Check out Ainsley's podcast to hear her opinion on the second novel. Though I haven't read any other books by Victoria Aveyard, I have read the second book in the series and can say that, though I actually liked the first one more, it was also very enjoyable. It was a very good ending, and I think the third and final book will be very, very good. So, how do you feel about the book? Did you like the ending? Which characters were your favorite? This is Abby Crott signing off. Hope you enjoyed this podcast, and make sure to tune in next week for our analysis of the book Selection by Kiera Cass.